Morning, folks. Tuesday, April 1st. Time to start a new month here. Sorry I missed yesterday's episode. I ended up coming into Mobile temporarily, but I had a sick kid in the car with me, so didn't feel like trying to get an episode recording in uh, under those conditions. There, there probably would have been at least a handful of interruptions that we would have had to have dealt with. So uh, maybe in the future, once the kids know kind of what I'm doing and why I'm doing it, uh, they might can be quiet listeners in the back, but we're not there yet by any means. Let's see. Tuesday update for today. We been doing a ton of troubleshooting for some of the pool equipment at rental down there in Perdido Key. We've we've been having a hard time getting readings on uh, equipment in terms of what the temperature is. We've got guests in there. They checked in Friday evening. Um, and I got a message from them Friday at 10 saying that the pool uh, was cold. And so I checked the temperatures on the app that we have that controls all the pool stuff, and it looked to me like it was a little bit cooler than I would have wanted it, but not the way that it was being described. And the guest was also reaching out and saying, "Hey, can we get access to the beach towels?" And I'm like, well, sure you can. They're part of our beach package offering that we sent you before you checked in. Here's the link again. Uh, and then they also were having a tough time finding the bath towels, which are laid out on every bed, neatly folded. Walk into the bedroom, you see the towels that, the people who would sleep in that bedroom are going to use. The bathrooms, um, aren't exactly set up at that house to store, 12 towels. And then you also, you don't want to try to guess, who's going to sleep where and who's going to use what bathroom. It's in my mind, it's easier to put the towels on the bed because people are going to be sleeping in the bed. And so they walk in, they get ready, they set their bags down, they see the towels on the bed. So, I don't know. Y'all tell me, is that naive to think that that's better? Um, for whatever reason, they had tallied that they had three bath towels on each level. Uh, and I mean, that's just not even close to accurate. So, anyways, they fire a message over at 10 p.m. Um, with three what I would call gripes um, about those issues that I outlined. And I learned something. I have started using Chat GPT for responses. I've got this one thread going in Chat GPT where um, Chat GPT knows exactly what the thread is for. I've told it, hey, look, this is going to be for guest communication polishing, because sometimes I can be a little bit blunt, especially from behind a keyboard. And so what I've trained it to do is I provide the guest's message and I give, bulleted responses that say, hey, look, it's this, it's this, it's this. And then it takes that and formulates it into a reformatted and it knows that I want it to be easy to read, clear, friendly, and considerate. And so I gave it all of those parameters, and now I can literally take a one word response, and it turns it into a paragraph exactly how I would have written it. If I had spent 20 minutes trying to trying to write something out. So it's been really helpful in getting responses to guests quickly because, you know, a lot of times we get a message like that, and you don't want to spend 20 minutes trying to figure out, okay, does this sound good or does this sound good? You know, it does it quickly. You know, that's what it's designed to do. So I've been feeding all these messages into there. That's been a big help. I think it softens some of my bluntness, which is, you know, not intentional by any means, but it's just, you know, I send messages as if they're texts to people, as if they're texts and as if it's to somebody that I know and who knows me. And the reality is that's not what it is. So you have to do a little bit better. And so that's our attempt to make sure that we can do it quickly and efficiently. Um, so anyways, you know, I told, you know, they sent the message at 10 o'clock. Well, pool hours are until 10 o'clock. So, you know, the first thing I tell them is like, okay, well, you know, the bath towels are on the beds. Uh, you know, just a reminder, the hot tub isn't going to work at 10 p.m. because the pool hours shut off at 10 p.m. And, you know, you can see the instructions on how to use the hot tub. It takes 45 minutes to heat up. So, you know, you're too late to the party. Um, for tonight. And I, you know, and I told him, I said, hey, look, I'll click it up a few degrees, so that the pool can be warmer. You know, I think the reality is they had some expectations based off of some previous heated pool experiences up in the Northeast, and you know, up there in the Northeast, if you want a heated pool, it's almost undoubtedly with a furnace, a gas furnace. Um, and down here in the South, we use heat pumps, and so, you know, they don't heat the water the same way. It takes time to heat them. Um, they can't hold, you know, when it rains a bunch or when it's overcast and there's no sun and all that kind of stuff. It doesn't hold heat in the same way. So, you know, I think it was at least partially some kept up expectations unfulfilled. um, and, you know, so we're going to work on updating our descriptions to be a little bit more transparent about what a heated pool in the Florida Panhandle behaves like and feels like, you know, in these shoulder season months. You know, we fortunately, you know, we're to the part of the year where we didn't charge the guests to heat the pool. I think that would have obviously been a real disaster. You know, if it had been, you know, they paid to heat the pool and they didn't feel like it was as warm as they thought it was going to be, that would be catastrophic. But in March, we've kind of succumbed to the fact that we're just going to kind of heat the pool in order to get the bookings. And so I think we'll just have to do a better job in the marketing copy about what a heated pool in the month of March in North Florida looks like. But come to find out, you know, the next day I'm looking at all these temperatures and I'm trying to see, okay, is this hot tub, you know, heating the way that I expect it's going to be heated? And the reality is no, it was not heating as quickly or to the temperature that I thought it should be. And come to find out, somehow some of the valves that control the hot tub have gotten moved out of the um, automated position where the actuators can turn the valves properly over into manual mode. And the only way that happens is somebody messes with the valves. So I don't know, uh, you know, I don't know how it happened, but we've gotten into a situation where uh, the guest was right, the hot tub was not heating the way that it should, and so we had to get somebody over there to figure out what was going on. And we think we've gotten everything figured out at this point, but it's just been, you know, 2 or 3 days of back and forth. Hey, the hot tub's not doing what we think it should do. Hey, we're trying to figure it out. We've got somebody coming, you know, et cetera, et cetera. So it's been a long weekend of troubleshooting, kind of draining. And you know, this whole time you're kind of stressing about, all right, what kind of review is this guest primed to leave at this point, and what can we do to move ourselves out of that potentially negative review category and back into a good review category. One of the things we say, and we've even made some magnets that we put on the refrigerator, is for a five-star stay, we've heard from guests that they want a clean space, they want a comfortable space, and they want us to respond quickly when an issue comes up. And so I think we've done that. It did take a little bit of time to figure out that there definitively was some problems with the pool equipment itself. Um, so, a little behind the ball on that. And going to try to figure out, what we can do to kind of get the guests satisfied again a little bit later today. So that's the update for today. We will catch y'all on the next one. Have a happy Tuesday.